Welcome to the 21st Wimlex episode presented by your hosts Wilhelm Blom and Alexander Graf. Our guest today is Niels Verwij. He's the founder of Dekbed Discounter, a very known brand in the Benelux area, a not so known brand yet in the German area, and especially for our German listeners, this will be a very, very surprising episode because Dekbed Discounter is from the lifestyle and furniture industry, an online business that grew organically, so without outside money, to a very decent 8-digit level, selling so-called Dutch Dekbed or the German Bettdecke. And they are very successful. They are growing about 100% a year. They are very big now in the leasing business. So more and more Dutch people and Belgian people are leasing their box spring beds and other furniture. That's a very, very interesting business model with a lot of advantages and very, very few disadvantages. And within the interview, you will see. So I'm really, really surprised how this could work out and why nobody else ever did it. Not in the Benelux, neither in the German-speaking countries. I'm pretty sure we will hear a lot from Dekbed Discounter in the future on different conference stages in the German market and the Benelux market. And I'm very happy that Niels was so open and telling us so much stuff about his business. So be surprised about Dekbed Discounter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 21 of the Wimlex podcast. Today we're joined by Niels Verwij, who is the founder of Dekbed Discounter. He started his company in 2014, which is now a multi-million euro company. Dekbed Discounter is selling and leasing box springs and duvets, and he's growing more than 100% a year. Welcome, Niels.
Thank you.
Could you elaborate a little bit more how you founded Dekbed Discounter?
I started in 2013 with a day trading website like Groupon. And from there, I sold a lot of duvet covers. And I experienced that it sold very well, but also I didn't get a lot of returns. So one night I thought, okay, I have to do something with this. And I started Dekbed Discounter. So I claimed the URL. And then next day we were live.
Cool.
Yeah.
And why duvet?
I have to find a new offer every day for the day trading business. So every day, one day it was a bike, the next day it was a scooter, the next day it was a glass, and then it was a duvet. So it was a sort of experience which articles sold good and how many returns I get and how many questions. So that was very nice for me to practice which goods to sell.
So the metrics were good in the beginning. Still, you've grown into a very successful company. Probably there were many others out there who also sold duvets.
Yeah.
Why have you become successful?
I think because of the promotions we do and the service we give. So it's two components. We have a very big actions. For example, now we have get 3, pay for 1. That's a kind of silly promotion. But in the end, when the customer receives the product, it's a very good product. And the service is also very well. So when something is not good at the product, we can change it. So customers never complain. And I think that's the trick.
Okay. And then you started it yourself? You're also the sole owner of the company?
Not anymore. I have a companion since 2017 in March, Maurice. He was a good friend of mine, and we're now doing it together. And since the first of this year, we put 2 companies together, and it's the Arend from Waardenburg. It's an interior company, and we get together. And the reason, therefore, was that they have a lot of furniture, and we want to get in the furniture business with the leasing model. And we didn't have the experience with buying furniture and making furniture. So they're in our company now, and they can give us all the experience from 25 years in one time.
Okay, and together with them, did you also develop the leasing construct? Or is
No, we did it by our own. We started that in December 2017. So 1 December 2017 we started with the box springs. And then last year in, I think, April, we started with couches. So that's the second product. And now in July, so I think like 2 weeks, we're starting also with tables and chairs.
And that's all under the brand of Dekbed Discounter?
Yeah, still under the brand of Dekbed Discounter.
Aren't customers confused a bit? Because your name in Dutch, well, the English translation is Duveets.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting to buy a table or leasing a table or a couch on with such an URL. Or
that was our concern as well, but we see that the couches are selling for leasing very well, so that's not a problem for the customer. The customer likes our service, the customer likes our price, the customer likes our website, and they don't care.
Okay.
We ask them.
Can you give us a little bit more overview about the market itself? So what is like the market share already traded online in your niche, which is home and living? As I would.
I think when you really look at we call it software and hardware. So the software is the duvet covers, fitted sheets, pillows, etc. And you have the hardware, the mattresses, and the beds.
Yeah.
When we look at the software, we have like a market share of 6 or 7%, I think, and online we're market leader. When you look at the furniture, we're a little bit smaller. The market is a lot bigger, so I think we have 3%.
And regarding the domain name, there's a couple of like German companies with the same issue. Probably one of the most known is Notebooks Billiger, which is cheap laptops. But they're selling everything. They didn't manage to go into categories that are too far away from the name. They even tried it with washing machines and all the stuff. So that's hard to explain for a customer. It's okay when it comes to electric stuff like smartphones and notebooks, of course, and monitors. And so I believe the domain will keep you in the home and living sector. I would say, but other examples have shown so far that it works out even with other assortments. I'd like to jump one step back because you said you started the Groupon clone or like the Groupon Netherlands business.
No, it's a clone.
It was a clone during the high peak of Groupon.
Yeah.
Which was 2012, more or less, 11, 12. That was when everybody started something like that. Yeah. How did you manage to start a website just in one day? Because when we are talking about e-commerce projects or general CRM project, whatever you name it, it will take companies often months, sometimes years to start a decent online shop. And you started an online shop and it was able to sell like after one day. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we were a very small company. We were with 2, so that was simple. And we didn't have processes like we have now, so it was very easy to start. And we had assortment from the day trading business. So for us, it was more or less get an installation of a web shop and then.
So you started with Shopify or something? Lightspeed. Yeah. Which is a Dutch Shopify or what is it?
It's now Canadian, but I think it was SEO Shop. In the past.
It was a Dutch company.
Yeah. Back then it was indeed a Dutch company.
Yeah. And you're still running on that technology? Or?
Yeah.
And that's good enough for the business you were doing?
Yeah, we did some changes. So we have our own development team here for the IT. But the basics of the web shop are still running on Lightspeed.
Okay. And what I'm struggling around the whole time when I was introduced to your cases, when we see successful e-commerce cases, usually they do have in common that there's a high buying frequency, because buying frequency leads to a proper CRM system that you can lure the customers again and again into your web shop. Dekbed, or the German word Bettdecke, is usually not a piece in your at your home you buy every month. Especially when you mentioned the deal buy 2 get 3, and I never thought about that. It's like with car tires, buy 4 get 5. It does not make sense for me from my perspective. So how does it work? So where do you get the customers from, and how do you manage to get them back in a frequency that is good enough to run an e-commerce business?
I think the duvet cover business has changed. Many people are changing more, so they want to give their house a new look, like you have with Zara. The clothes are cheaper and they're nice clothes. So people are changing more. I think that's a trend. And with duvet covers is this as well. So you can change the whole look and feel of your room with just one duvet. In the past, duvet cover costed in Holland, for example, €300.
300?
That's a lot of money. You have to discuss with your partner. Do you like this? Do you like that? And with Dekbed discounter, you can buy a duvet cover for like €25. No problem. So they will not... I think we skipped the part of the discussion between two partners and the time to buy something like that. In our business, people buy at their lunch, buy a duvet cover.
And you're still buying duvet covers from other retailers or from manufacturers and selling them, or it's like a verticalized business already?
Both. Yeah, we have our own places where we produce our own brands, and we have brands from other companies we sell.
Can you give us for listeners a little bit some background about the size we are talking about? How many products, how many people are working in your company? How many duvet covers are you able to sell per day?
We have 50 employees here in Gouda. This all office work, so we have also a warehouse in Breda. That's a fulfillment center, but they're working like 50, 60 people for us every day, but it's not on our payroll. Also we have, the Arend, our new company. They're also working 50 people in Waardenburg. And we're selling a day, I think like 4,000 or 5,000 items. And I think 50% is duvet cover. Something like that.
And your average customer, how many duvet covers does he or she have at home?
That I cannot tell, but I think the average items a customer orders is like 3. So that's a lot. And mostly that's our order with a fitted sheet, duvet cover and a pillow, for example.
And where did they buy it before Betek Discounter? Is there like IKEA, which is I think it's the biggest seller in Germany for this?
I think we lost a lot of places in Holland where you can buy duvet covers. So like Blokker, it's not anymore the same as before. V&D, it's gone. So that's good for us.
So was former brick and mortar retailers?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're out of the market. And what was their main business? Mattresses and
no, they have like every kind of stuff for in a household. But duvet covers was a big share of the market. So I think only the online players are threatened for us.
And if you look at the total market size and your market share in it, if you sell about 2,000 duvet covers a day, that's 70,000 a year. What would you say the total market is and your market share in it is?
That's hard to... I don't know, because also we have a little market share, for example, in Belgium. Okay. So we're selling in Belgium. We want to sell in Germany, for example, but we didn't... all the countries have different sizes. So the pillow size in Holland is 60, 70 centimeters. And Germany is 80, 80. So that's for example. And also the duvet itself is a different size. Yeah. So for us, it's very hard to go over the border because we have to have 2 stocks. And that's very expensive for us.
Is there also a difference between the Netherlands and Belgium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bigger or smaller?
Belgium, the Dutch part of Belgium is not is the Holland sizes, and the French is the French sizes. So
how come they are different per country?
I don't know.
But I learned about that. I listened to a podcast in Germany from Boris Thoma, and his grandfather was the inventor of, I don't know what the correct English word is, the frame below the mattress. In Germany and sometimes in the Netherlands you have like in the US you have standard box spring set up, but in Central Europe you have this Lattenrost in German.
Lattenbodem.
And his grandfather was the inventor, and he told the same. Because there's so many different sizes worldwide when it comes to bedding, it's very hard to internationalize the business, and you are saying exactly the same. So, but with Lattenrost, I understand it's hard to adapt because the production is so intense. In your business, it seems it usually shouldn't be so expensive to create a couple of other sizes, or is it?
No, it's not very expensive, but it's the minimum order quantity. That's the problem. So you have to buy from one design, one duvet cover, you have to buy 2,500 pieces. And then it's get then it's getting expensive.
But if you're doing market research for, I don't know, Belgium, Germany, whatever countries are you interested, do you see the same opportunity, the same kind of market change where former duvet cover providers from the brick and mortar retail are going out of the market, and whereas on the online side there's not specialized providers, or where, for example, IKEA is doing a sloppy job, or
I see two changes, because many people buy online and it's getting more and more. So that's one trend I see, and the other is that I think that people are more changing the items like duvet covers because of the trends and that kind of stuff. So I think that are two opportunities for us to expand to other countries.
And how do you get the former duvet cover customers into other categories? Are the customers that first bought a duvet cover at your company now the customers that are buying a sofa with you, or leasing a sofa? Can you
also, yeah.
How did you came up with like the leasing idea? This sounds very strange to me.
We saw an article in the newspaper, and that was about leasing and about the future of leasing, and people not want to pay any more for assets, but they want to lease it or something like that. And then we started thinking about our products, and the duvet covers are not interesting because of it's nasty. You throw it away when you used it a year or something. So we started thinking about beds, and we were already selling beds, but it was not a very good business for us because were cheap beds. So it was not the best quality. It was not, and we didn't stand for that. So we stopped.
What kind of bed was it? Was it box spring, or was it?
Yeah, it was a box spring, but it was not the quality we wanted. So in one time we thought, okay, we go leasing. We get the price very low for the customer, so that's very nice. And we go to the best factory and buy a very good bed, and then put it in lease.
What would be the retail street price for the very good quality box spring bed?
It depends on the model. We have 5 models now, but I think somewhere between 2,000 and 8,000 euros.
8,000 euros?
Yeah.
And what is your leasing model then?
For the beds of like 8,000 euros, it's 69 euros a month.
Okay.
70 euros.
Okay, so you would need to use the bed like for 10 years more or less, or 8 years, so you can pay for it in full. So is it turns a model over time, though, when the customer is using the bed for, I don't know, 4 years, so just started, I know. Yeah. Can you then keep the bed because you've paid in full?
No, the contract is 5 years, always, and after 5 years you have many different options, so you can stop. We pick up the bed and then it's done. Second is you can pay the bed and then it's yours. Or you can get a new bed. That are the 3 options most.
What's the best working model for you?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No.
And what is when did you start the business?
December 2017.
And what is like the experience so far? I'd like to deep dive a little bit here because it's so unreal. It seems unreal.
Now, we have a lot of customers in a very short time. So we have like now I think 15 to 20,000 leasing customers already having a bed or a sofa, and we're now expanding fast in more businesses like the chairs and the tables and something like that. And the experience we have is that a lot of customers that couldn't buy a good bed from 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 euros, who have back problems, sleep not very well, that kind of stuff, now experience a very good night rest, and that's very nice.
That's interesting, but what I'm thinking about is that that was actually that was like the financing model how mail order companies became big in the 70s and 80s. So they were the first that offered Ratenzahlung, the monthly payment instead of like one full payment, and that was like a super innovation. Though people could afford stuff that they could not afford before. That's how mail order companies came up. So what I'm still borrowing about is it more like a financing perspective? So I understand it like, for example, older people would say, okay, I don't want to invest like 8K in a box spring bed, but maybe for the rest of the 3 years I'm around.
No.
I'd like to have a good quality, or is it like is it really the financing issue, or is it like as with the Duet product? Is it because people want to have a change or the potential for change in the future?
It's more like a luxury rent. So in Holland we call that operational lease. I don't know how it's called in Germany, but I think the same. So it's a kind of a luxury rent. So you rent a very luxury bed at our company for 5 years. And after the 5 years, you can decide what to do. So we're basically leasing your very good night rest, not the bed.
So talking about financing, in leasing constructions, what I've known from the car leasing companies is they need to have a large sum of money beforehand to being able to finance all the acquisitions of beds. How does your financial model look like? How were you able to provide those 15,000 people with leased products?
Now we're working together with a financing company, of course, because otherwise it wouldn't work. So now we're selling the whole leasing product. So we get the lead, and then we're selling it to a finance company. They provide us with the money, and then we can do all the services and buying the beds and deliver the beds, and et cetera, et cetera.
And under your name, so the contract is with Dekbed Discount?
Yeah, of course, yeah. We are doing all the service, all the drops at the customers, et cetera. Yeah.
Great. And what's the reaction so far from clients? Are they
perfect. Yeah, they're very happy. You can look at our website and check the reviews of the beds itself, but also the service. So in the 5 years, we are able to do all the service for all the products. So, for example, after 2 years, you say the mattress is not very well anymore. We come to your house, bring a new mattress, get the old one with us, and then done, and you pay 0. That's the service within the 5 years.
Cool. So it's really about the service. Then again, I'm impressed by the number of people you've been able to acquire, the 15,000.
Yeah.
Is it all cross-selling from your existing database, or do you have like specific marketing campaigns and CRM campaigns?
Yeah, we have very, very big marketing campaigns at the moment, but at the start it was more cross-selling, of course. Okay. But as we see, people are interested in the product. We're always expanding.
Okay. And how do you do your marketing? Is it
here in house? Yeah. So a lot of Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, Pinterest marketing. So we like to show the pictures to the customer of the beds, because the beds are looking very nice, and they want to buy the picture. That's online business.
Are you operating based on your own cash flow, or is it external investments pouring the company?
No, the company is on own money, so no investors. But for the lease concept,
I got that. Of course, you don't want to have your $8,000 bets, 10,000 from then on your P&L. No, I'm wondering, because I give you a short overview about what is the status quo in the German market when it comes to home and living. So we have these very famous 2 cases, Home24 and Westwing, that were started about 2012, 2013, so after the Groupon hype out of the Rocket Internet ecosystem. They IPO'd a couple of years ago, and now the numbers they show are pretty much the opposite of what you're telling. So they are not able to grow from their own cash flow, or do have a very, very hard time to turn even to black numbers, so to say. And deep diving into the business of Home24, which is like a very broad assortment when it comes to home and living, but actually the same industry. They are only growing with the market growth, so 10 to 15% a year. That's how the online market in home and living is growing, but it's super unprofitable. So and now I'm wondering, now you're explaining, and that's why I'm super surprised. And you're telling us you just started the business out of the blue, so to say, and then because you had some access to products, and you're able to grow not only profitable based on your core business, but also outperforming the market growth by far. Though you're growing like, I don't know, 50%, 100%. A year. How is that possible? Is there such a need of home and living supply online? Are the other channels so bad? Is your offering so much better? So because your duvet covers is like 50% cheaper than all the other providers, because when we're looking to the German market, it's like heavy fighting every day. Like every SEA keyword is like turned around 20 times, and then should I bid 10 cent more on a duvet cover, and then I will lose only 20% for the first purchase, and then maybe at the third or fourth purchase I will turn this customer into profitable. That's the discussion in the German market, and I'm really interested. How do you look at that? Because I will be at a home living conference in 2 weeks, and maybe I can learn from you.
I think it's our offering, because we're a lot cheaper than the other brands in Holland. So, for example, the big brands in Holland are asking 200-300 euros for duvet cover, and it's high quality duvet covers, and we're selling them for 50 euros. So the price difference makes us special.
How are you able to do that?
We're buying directly from the factories.
Yeah. They aren't? Or do you see that their margins are higher as well?
Sometimes, but there are some traders in between, and then it goes to to shops and that kind of stuff. And then there's so many people have to earn money. It's getting a lot of more expensive than it should.
Okay. And talking about your distribution model, of course you have a direct to consumer model. Yeah. What we also see with Amazon, we were at bol.com yesterday, is that they have a large third-party reseller network, the merchants.
Yeah.
Amazon is big in that as well. Would that be for you a valid option as well to sell through marketplaces?
Yeah, we're now starting at bol.com and want to start at Amazon. It is a good way to sell, I think, but it's with our own brands and our own products where we can make the difference in price.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then why did you opt for marketplaces? Because you lose also some of the data that is with.
Yeah, but I think they're getting so big. You cannot sell on these platforms. It's very nice extra turnover, I think.
Okay.
So why not?
I would like to elaborate the why not, because we've seen the same development in the German market. And a couple of years ago, there have been brands standing on big stages saying I only sell on Amazon.de because every sales, every basket I do on my own platform leads to a situation where my ranking on Amazon or bol.com, for example, will decrease, and the ranking and the amount of products sold per item, this is like by far the most important criteria for the ranking. So if people are searching for duvet covers on bol.com, you want to make sure that your cover is number 1, 2, and 3. But those companies are doing a very, very hard time, because platforms are very good in getting the money out of you by the auction business. Because over time, there's more and more ads you need to buy to stay competitive. And then there's like the other extreme saying, okay, if we are starting to help platforms become relevant in our industry, I don't know how relevant bol.com is in your industry right now. We are losing the direct access to the customer, so we are becoming more or less a smart warehouse. So we are getting like a transaction, an order, and then we send the product away. And over time, we a kind of logistics provider, and there's a platform who's doing all the selling and all the CM. I need to buy access, and now you've proven in the last years that you're very successful in directly turn customers into your own customer in your customer database, and you probably built your own CRM system and send out emails and push notifications and whatever. So if you're looking at the total calculation of the platforms, they want to take a part of the margin. Though over time you need to crucify your USP, producing the best covers for a decent price. Do you have a long-term outlook on your platform strategy, or is it just because platforms are now asking and giving you a good deal that you have to accept?
I think it's the good deal, and I think it's our product. So we're not selling the products cheaper on the platform, for example, than our own product at our own shop. So I think there's not a problem. I think our product is very good. I think our product is very well priced. So why not sell it everywhere? It doesn't matter for us.
What is the share between your own brand versus third-party brands?
You mean at the shop, like products?
Yeah.
I think 70% own brand and 30% third party.
And we're talking about the 70% that you're going to sell on Amazon or Bol.com as a platform to get more traction for your brand. Oh, that's super interesting because it's like a very, very interesting crossroad here, because one version could become like the number one home and living app for the customers, that whenever a customer thinks about getting something new decoration for the household or a new chair or table, he needs to use your application. And the other road is to become like the major manufacturer for this business, but that's two completely different businesses on the long term.
We get a lot of questions from other companies if they can sell our brand. So we're starting new brands under new names, and it's our products very, very better priced than other competitors. And also competitors of us are asking for if they can buy stock. So that's a very big compliment.
But even in the danger of repeating the question, but how can this be possible? I would imagine that it's possible by buying 1 million of duvet covers, and then you have like the operational advantages on your side, because you're saving the middlemen. You talked about a couple of middlemen, not only one. And there must be other companies around that with some decent scale in selling duvet covers, mattresses, or not. Or is it like you achieved like a scale, a decent size just after a year that is bigger than the other ones? Is that the case?
I think in the first 4 years we were only growing, so we're a growing company and not making a lot of money, always investing. So all the money was going into marketing and getting bigger, and now we're at a scale we can do this kind of stuff. So like 2 years ago we couldn't do this.
I'm still very pretty much impressed. When you are talking about other platforms, would you then sell into other countries? Would you then use an Amazon.de, for example, to sell your stuff into Germany?
Yeah, that would be possible.
Would that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, we have to make other sizes, but we have some suppliers who have that sizes, so we can test it with the third-party brands, for example, in Germany. And then later, when we think it's working, we can make our own brands in German sizes. So that would be not a problem. Are
you afraid of the platform that are copying your business? So yesterday, I think the Bol.com CEO said he never wants to be in a competitive situation with the sellers on the platform, which is kind of the eBay philosophy and perspective. At Amazon, the biggest fear of manufacturers is that Amazon is starting an own brand in their category, and Amazon, it depends what kind of sources you're trusting, is starting like a couple of brands every day in every category. I'm pretty sure there must be an Amazon brand even in this category. Aren't you like fearing this situation where, let's say, you make 20 million on Amazon.de, and then sometimes Amazon is turning it around into an own brand and advertising its own brand before your brand? That's what they're doing on a global level for fashion, for example. Yeah. You're looking at Hilfiger jeans, and then there's an Amazon own brand saying, okay, that's the same jeans, essentially same quality, better price, but you can choose, which is like a psychological trick that happens. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, of course, but I think the most important is that we're mostly selling on our own platform, and it's only some extra turnover. So it's nice, but we're not depending on Amazon or Bol or something like that.
So you said that you already are focusing on other markets, especially Belgium.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? How's the size and the growth going in Belgium?
The size is a lot smaller than Holland because there are less people, but also we're a Dutch company, so Dutch people like us more, I think. The Germans are, the Belgian people are a little bit, 5 years ago in Holland, so the internet buying is not so familiar as in Holland, so that's a problem for us. So advertising is a lot more complex. Television, we do a lot in Holland, and in Belgium it's hard to do television.
Is marketing. It performance-based television deals?
No.
Or you just buy airtime?
Prices are extremely high. So in Holland prices are high, but in Belgium their prices are extremely high.
TV ads?
Yeah.
Wow.
But even like if TV is, the prices are high in Holland, it makes sense for your business?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I think it's an investment for long term, so it's not a short term investment. But when you look at the long term, our brand Dekbed Discounter has become very famous in Holland, and we did awful lot of TV campaigns, and I think
what is the brand
that's one of the
awareness?
success.
If you would ask your friends,
but I mean the TV ads were all over. So I think you did a big deal with RTL.
No, we're just buying from RTL and Talpa and all the...
Talpa?
Yeah.
So
NPO.
you watch TV in Holland?
So if you will ask your friends in your network about like the brand, most of them would recognize the brand?
Yeah, so I have many friends who also don't watch TV, but I think if I would ask, people in the village where my parents are from, just like a rural village here in the Netherlands, then most of the people would know the brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's also more the target audience.
Yeah.
So I think, the brand recognition here is high. I'm surprised that Belgium is so expensive in terms of marketing, because I would expect, since e-commerce is less developed than in the Netherlands, there's a lot of inventory still available on the Googles, on the Facebooks, on the Instas.
Yeah.
Is that the key challenge in Belgium, marketing costs, or are there other challenges as well for you?
No, I think the marketing costs. That's the most.
And distribution, bilingual. So you're also selling French?
No, not at the moment, because we don't have the French website and that kind of stuff. But in Belgium it's perfect because our warehouse is in Breda, so it's.
That's a border town for the Dutch listeners. It's next to Belgium.
When you're looking to your sales funnel, do you expect every marketing channel to be profitable with the first purchase? So let's say you make a TV ad or some Google ads in Belgium. Would you invest above a level where you don't turn a profit on the first sale anymore, or is your approach to be profitable with the first sale?
We're now trying to be profitable at the first sale, but before that wasn't.
No. Okay.
No. In the first 4 years, we were spending all our money on marketing, and now we're getting profitable.
Do you think there's a limit on the lease business? So I never thought about leasing a bed, or actually I'm not aware of the industry of luxury lease. What you say? Tables, chairs, beds, whatever. Is there like a limit in this? For the industry, or if there are many more products in a household that you can lease? Kitchen, for example, which is an expensive
I think it's just started, because 5 years ago when someone told you they had a private lease car, you would say, are you crazy? But now in Holland it's quite normal, so people are leasing their car for like 200 or 300 euros a month, a small car, and people... Yeah.
Bikes as well. There's a company called Swapfiets in the Netherlands. It's now started in Germany as well. So people are leasing bikes for, I think, 15 or 17
euros a month.
Yeah, I saw them at a conference in Kiel at my rural hometown in Germany 2 weeks ago.
But they are very big. They have more like 100,000 bikes in Amsterdam or something like that.
100,000 bikes in Amsterdam?
No, Holland, I think.
Okay. But they're growing very fast.
Yeah, and very fast.
That also, I agree with you. I think 5 years ago, also such a company would be too early. Yeah. And students would buy like cheap bikes from a local shop. But now students who don't have the biggest pockets, they are the key target audience. So you see that the younger generations are more open for leasing constructions. Is that also, and that's my question, is that also, can you see that in your database, that, or is it across all ages that people?
No, young people like the concept more, of course. But for example, someone is 25 buying their first house. They don't have a lot of money. Banks are giving less money than before. So this is a very good opportunity to buy a new couch and a bed and a table with chairs for nothing.
Banks are giving less money now in these economic times than before?
Yes, in Holland.
Yes?
Yeah, but because we had a mortgage bubble here in the Netherlands. Yeah. Banks were lending more than 100% of the value of the house to consumers.
And now 106 or something, and now it's 100. So they're getting a lot less money. So
that is changing now?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The rules are getting more strict because I think we are the country with the highest mortgage land if you put in all the money of the population.
Crazy. So what would be your growth vision then? So you need to understand that coming from the German market where everybody's struggling to turn a profitable dollar in the home and living business, and you're saying you just started a couple of years ago, and then there was growth out of your own cash flow, which is almost unbelievable. So what is the growth vision then for Dekbed Discounter in the next year? Will you be able to grow another 50, 100% on a yearly base, which becomes more and more complex, as we learned yesterday at bull.com, growing 30% on a 2 billion base? It's adding 600 million in revenue a year. So it's not so easy, especially from the logistics side. So what is your vision then on growth?
I think this year we're growing 100%, and I think next year we will be able to grow another 100%. And from then on, I don't know. We have to see.
Can you elaborate on the total revenue? Is it something you can disclose?
I think this year we go to 75 million or something like that.
75 million. Wow.
Yeah.
And next year 100% a year is.
Yeah.
But how can you do that? Because adding another 70 million or 100 million, then maybe next year will lead to a lot of added warehouse space needed. Or do you have make to order processes that
our lease products are made to order? So when a customer can customize its own bed or a sofa, and then we're delivering it directly to the customer, so we don't have a warehouse for that.
Okay, crazy. And are you looking to raise money in the future to still fuel the growth? Because money is so cheap now on a global level. People are looking for businesses with.
At the moment, it's not a problem. So at the moment we're financially strong. So I think in the next 2 years it's not an issue. For the lease concept, we have to think further. So we have to look at other countries, funding ways, and etc., etc. But for the Dekbed Discounter brand, it's not necessary.
And is it local banks that are doing the lease financing for you? So you're selling the moment you're selling a lease contract, you're selling essentially the kind of contract to a bank, right? So they are because they are financing it, they are owning the customer financial relation. What kind of banks are doing that?
That's a bigger Dutch bank, and it's a specialist on this kind of construction. So it's not a normal bank. And they're doing this for I think 15 years already. But the concept is not very familiar for a lot of people. But in Holland it was known for example, washing machines, bikes and that kind of stuff. And now it's getting,
You're also leasing washing machines in Holland?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, but even if it sounds strange, what are the limitations of growth today? So, why can't you grow 200%, so to say, even if it sounds ridiculous because other countries are not able to grow 10%?
I think the most important reason is that we cannot expand that fast in, for example, transportation of the goods, producing all the goods. And getting it right. We're very hard pushing on the best service. So when we want to give the customer the best service, you cannot grow 200% because then all the company fall apart.
And on the delivery logistics side, you're relying on the standard network providers like Dutch Post or whatever it is here?
For the Dekbed Discounter duvet covers, for example, there were PostNL. So this is the Dutch brand. And for our bigger products, so the hardware, we have a specialized team of people and a specialized company who will bring the product at home and then fix it in the room and getting all the stuff back.
Could it make sense in the future to own such a company or to own this kind of service? Because though you can maintain an even higher level of service?
That's what Coolblue is, for example.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. For now, it's fine like this, but maybe in the future it will. But it's not something we're thinking about right now.
When you mentioned your challenges, you said logistics, production. You didn't mention talent. We usually hear that there's a war on talent, finding qualified people. How's that for you? Is that an issue, or are you increasing your efficiency?
I think it's hard to get talent, of course, but I think we have one very nice thing. For example, we're advertising a lot on television. I think a lot of people are finding it nice. So young people like to work at our place, and that's our advantage to other companies.
And what is your corporate culture?
We're a family, so very open. Not so much boundaries between layers in the company or something like that. No.
Here in the headquarters, you said there's like 50 people right now. And if you have to split them through teams, how many people are working in IT? How many people in marketing? How many in purchasing?
I think in marketing 5, 6. In IT, I think 6, 7. Customer service, I think like 20. Finance 3. That kind of stuff. It's not very big teams or something like that.
No, not at all. Because when we are looking at look at West Wing or Home24, and they're not so much bigger. So they're on a 200 million run rate, but they've worked like for 10 years now, and they're not growing that fast. So you will overtake them in a couple of years, maybe probably like next year already. Their teams are usually much bigger, especially when it comes to marketing and IT. So marketing is changing right now, though. 10 years ago, you needed a lot of marketing power in the performance marketing channels, SEA, SEO, and all the others. Now you can spend 100 million with like 5 people, but you need on the tracking and data marketing data side a lot more people because it's so hard to connect all the dots on the customer journey. But on the IT side, we usually see splits that are ranging one FTE IT for 1 to 5 million euros. So that is growing much faster usually at the most companies. Most companies would have been in your stage at 25, 30 people now, growing to like 50, 60 people next year. So how can you manage IT so efficiently? So and you're saying you want to grow 100% next year.
I think the leasing business is one of the simple IT business, for example. So the web shop is a lot of more complex. So you have the warehouse, you have marketing, etc., etc. For the leasing, it's a lot less. How do you say it? It's a lot easier. So it's
less labor intensive.
Yeah. It's a simple web shop where you can put an order and then we send it to the factory. So there's nothing more to do than that. And the factory will send the goods to our warehouse, and the warehouse will send it to the customer.
So don't you have then the same problem as most other online companies or companies that want to become digital right now are having, saying that the wish list of things you'd like to do online, new features, new interfaces, and new B2B app, whatever. That's not your problem at all right now for growth?
No, of course that's a problem because many wishes are not getting done. So the team is not growing fast enough, and I think the IT team is the only team in the company that didn't grow as fast as all the other teams, and that's because it's hard to get good guys. Yeah. So that's our only challenge for now with people. Yeah.
I'm still a little bit overwhelmed about the information. You usually have like a list of 20 questions ahead of me in those podcasts, but now I'm still processing all the information.
We need a second show with you, Niels, in a couple of months to see where you stand.
At least we need a second show. So when I look at my cheat sheet, you've blanked everything from team setup about domain issues because of the narrow domain name. How your customers, how you look at your customers, like profitable on the first purchase, which is super rare this time. The leasing concept is something I probably will need to process 2 or 3 days. What kind of people want to sleep in a leased bed? And the big open question still for me is like the international pass, which you are now trying out with the platform side, and I will try to get feedback from Boris Thoma, the Lattenrost inventor's family, how you can internationalize on this one. But super interesting. Okay. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on the show, Niels.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the episode and you will buy your next duvet cover at Dekbed discounter. If you liked the episode a lot, please give us a review on SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify, and recommend it to your friends. Some of our next guests will be Rup Vermeulen from Bo.com, the CEO, the senior management from Wacker Chemie, one of the biggest chemical companies in Germany, and some other very interesting guests. So please stay tuned and listen to Wimlex.